Thank you so much, fellow Africans. Today on the Young Africans Innovators Journey, we have one of the young Africans indeed who is into the tech industry, of course, taking advantage of the modern tech tools to be able to create content. None other than Mr. Kasamuel with us here today. It's a pleasure to have you, Mr. Kasamuel, on the Young Africans Innovators Journey as we head to the summit. Now, for the purpose of introduction, I'll give Mr. Kasamuel just some brief, time or minutes to be able to introduce himself and to say for himself what he does. He says he's doing code education. Which code education is this, Mr. Kasamuel? Kindly introduce yourself. Let's throw you further, Mr. Kasamuel.
I'll briefly describe myself. So I will start by saying that my name is Mr. Kasamuel, as my friend has told you. So I specialize in content creation. Yes.
All right, Mr. Kas, that was a good one. Mr. Kasamuel is one of my closest friends, of course. I think one of the only young innovators who have been able to hold a session physically as compared to many other. Now, to our very first questions, Mr. Kasamuel, with respect to you being into content creation, our first question will be, what originally inspired you to start content creation as a young person in Africa? What is this one thing that really did inspire you to start content creation? Mr. Kasamuel, please.
So I'll start by saying that you see, I'm a fan of watching videos. So I used to enter into platforms like TikTok, so to watch the way people are creating content, the way they get views and likes. I would see the intelligence of people on how to create content. It really inspired me to make it. It made me feel like I need to create one so that I can gather audience. So again, that inspiration to create content based on what I would see, the engagement the creators were getting.
Right, yeah, I think it's a good one. Each one of us has a way on how things inspire. So you can see what really inspired Mr. Kasamuel, a young African, into content creation. It's by seeing what other people are doing and saying that he cannot watch from the fences, and he can also be able to jump into that and do it himself. And that's a good one, Mr. Kasamuel. Keep it up. Now, to our second question. Have modern tools like artificial intelligence or AI changed how you create or edit content? Have these modern tools, we are in a modern of artificial intelligence or AI, and everybody is using AI. So for you as an individual, do you think that these modern tools have shaped or changed on how people are creating content and also editing that content? Have you used one of these tools?
Yes, I have used. I can say that the modern tools like AI have changed because we rely so much on these AI tools because they are more advanced and they enable you to enhance content in a specific way that it can maximize your audience. So let's say, for example, if you want to create a video, so there are skills needed on how to create it. So there are features that you cannot find anywhere else except in AI. Okay. So that's why we use AI to create content, because we know that when you use those AI, you can be able to reach a more audience.
Right. So, wow, that's a good one. And he agrees. He admits that indeed artificial intelligence, it has come with some of its advantages, and as well as how he has tried to put it out. And I think that's a good one. It's very true that artificial intelligence and all the modern tools have really changed how many of the content creators in Africa, the young people, are trying to shape their content creation, making it even more adorable to have that more reach to other people. Now, that's a good one, and we proceed to the fourth question. Not the fourth, but our third question actually. That many people say that Africa's story is often told by others. Do you think African content creators are beginning to change the narrative? Now, I'll give an example of this. You realize even if you happen to watch many documentaries in perhaps these platforms, you will get that they are being filmed or done by people from other countries who have come to film this content creation here in Africa, and then they put it on these platforms. Now, how many people will say that is the narrative, that people will come and then film the content themselves, like film for Africa, what is in Africa. Now, do you think in this modern era, especially in the era of artificial intelligence, are African creators or the young Africans taking the center stage and putting away that narrative that filming of our content, we are owning our own content and we're doing our own film? Do you think the narrative is changing?
Yes, the narrative is changing but it also depends on Africans, because not every country in Africa is educated or has the skills and knowledge. So it depends on African nations, because some countries do not lack that education, that skill to be able to create content. So in relation to that question, I will say that it is changing because the more people are educated, the more now the narrative changes, because we can be able to film what we create and do not depend on Europeans or other the white people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, what I can just pick from what the young African or this innovator is saying is that it's a matter of education. It's a matter of education, and as people are continuing to be educated and learn more things, they are starting now to own the narrative. As it was different as it was before, but people were not well educated. They did not have that knowledge to be able to take things themselves. But now things are changing, such that Africans are taking the center stage and they're doing this. They're doing this content creation, filming or showing Africa to people by themselves because they are Africans. That's a good one. That's a matter of education. It's a very important issue when it comes to even Africans owning their own creation. To our fourth question, Mr. Kasamuel, do you think content creation can become a serious economic opportunity for young Africans? Do you think content creation can become a serious economic opportunity for young Africans? And so far so good, perhaps as somebody into content creation, have you been to that extent of it maybe seeing the fruits of that those economic fruits have they come? But do you think it can become a serious economic opportunity for young Africans?
So I respond by saying that it takes time.
Okay.
You can be successful in creating content if you reach more audience.
Okay.
So it's just you take a step time by time.
Okay.
So it can be very successful. It just depends on your consistency.
Okay.
And the mentality that you keep going, because the more you keep going, it is the more you get audience, and it will pay very soon.
Sure.
So it just depends on your mindset and consistency.
Oh, sure. Now, I think he admits that it's true that it can be a good economic opportunity, but it calls for a lot in terms of consistency and putting in whatever it is to make sure that you're able to achieve whatever you want to achieve in content creation. So it's possible, and young Africans should take advantage of that. To our fifth question, sorry, Mr. Kasamuel, what are the biggest challenges African content creators are facing today? What are these biggest challenges that you think as part of those young creator in Africa, what are some of these big challenges you think that you people or any other person into content creation, the young Africans, are facing today?
So I can say one of the challenges is that some of the AI tools that we use, you must pay to be able to access it, and some are very costly. So that is the first challenge. The second challenge is that the audience. Find that the more you create content, if it is not capturing the eyes of the audience, the visibility will be low. So it will be a very major challenge to the creator, because it will demoralize his motivation.
Sure.
So that is the second challenge.
Sure.
That challenge is that you may find that even after creating more content, that you may gain hate, that people may get very offensive comments in your content, that it may demoralize you. So yeah, I can say that those are the three main challenges.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he's putting across some very interesting facts in terms of I started with the issue of visibility, that the audience reach in terms of now the algorithm, because some of the times these young content creators, they take so much time to create their content, but at the end of the day, it's not how they expected, because after you share your content, you expect it to boom, but there's an issue of algorithms and how their content is fast accepted. So that's a very true challenge in terms of what the young Africans are facing, and also the issue of perhaps offensive comments on what these people are creating. People will say, people will try to demoralize you, and you get very down. So I think those are some of the very valid challenges. And just to maybe before we proceed to the last question, Mr. Samuel, what do you think then can be a solution to that? Because you have now given some of these challenges. What do you think can be a solution to such things that young Africans are facing?
I can say that first you can start with mental strength. You need to have that mental strength to not take negativity from people. So you need to be very mature to just continue the content regardless of people's comments. So if advise you, if you're not mentally stable, you should block the comments of people. Just continue with your work. Just be consistent.
Right, I think that's a good one, and specifically I think he has focused more of one of the challenges he has focused on answering that question is the thing of the response they get perhaps after they have posted their content, that some of the responses you get, they're not very good, they're very negative. So one of the things to be able to avoid them, he has tried to put them across, and I think that's a good strategy. That's something that keeps the peace of mind of you and make sure you not have some negative energy that is against you, and you keep going. So just keep going, focus on the lane. To our final question, Mr. Samuel. Now, since you are already into content creation and embracing the current era of tech, trying to create content, as an individual now, what is that one advice you're already in now, but we have some people, young Africans, who are yet to be into content creation? What is that one advice you may able to give somebody out there, like the young people who are looking at being into tech industry, especially by embracing the current modern tech tools? What is that one advice you can be able to give to your fellow young Africans who are looking forward to get into tech industry?
I will tell them that if you have an idea, start. Don't wait for anyone. Don't wait for any time, because time is priceless.
Sure.
So if you have an idea, just start, regardless of what people will think. If you have an idea, just start. That is what I can say.
Okay, that's a good one, fellow Africans, and that was Mr. Samuel for you on the Young Africans Innovators Journey session. It was a good one, Mr. Samuel. Thank you so much for being part of this. It was a pleasure having you here. And if you want to find some time on 27th and 28th of March 2026, be part of the Change for African Campaign Tech Innovation Summit 1. It will be a virtual event, so from the comfort of your zone, you want to find a time to be part of that particular summit. Thank you, fellow Africans. That was the Young Africans Innovators Journey with Mr. Samuel. Thank you, fellow Africans.